Top 7 4-star Lightcones in Honkai Star Rail. Why 7? Some of you might ask is because there are 7 different classes and we're going to be talking about the best ones for each of them. If there are any notable mentions, I'll also be sure to mention it. Let me know if you guys want more information about Lightcones. I can do like one for the rest of them as well for in a tier list. If you guys are interested, leave in a comment below. I'll definitely be keen to know as well if there's demand. Now let's start off first with the easiest to decide, and I think that will be Harmony. In terms of Harmony, I think it's pretty straightforward. I think that the best is by far Dance, Dance, Dance. Very clear, action advance forward 16% at super imposition 1, and at max it goes up to 24%. If you have a character like Tingyun, if you think about it, Bronya or Esta, all three of them are very heavily reliant in terms of uptime for their ultimate ability, so they do use it quite often, and that's why you get a lot of value out of this action advance by 24% at max and 16% at level 1. I think this is very, very strong, very synergetic for their overall kit to just push the whole team forward a lot more. So that's Harmony, my number 1. And I would say like number 2 in terms of no particular order really. I think in terms of like preservation, the strongest one will have to be Day 1 of My New Life. This is an insane good value Lightcone. It increases the wearer's defense by 16% and also like giving the whole entire party increase in terms of damage resistance as well. Very, very strong team-wide support. You can generally put one on each half and you will get a lot of value from the damage resistance as well. In terms of max level, it goes up to 24% defense and also 12% damage reduction. Of course, you can't stack it, so multiple preservation characters can't like abuse this and have like a huge amount of damage resistance. But still, nonetheless, I think it's a really solid one to have. This damage resistance it can compound on top of like your Guard of Withering Snow, with that additional like 8% damage resistance on the 2-piece effect. So in my opinion, this is like the best in terms of general use as well. The other ones are pretty good, but I think this one is a standout by far. And next up, let's go into Abundance. Now in terms of Abundance, I think the first place is like kind of close, and how I determine like what is the best in this category really is, can it just be taken and slotted onto any character? Because you don't want one that's a little bit too niche, you want something that is a bit more relevant. For example, like this one here, the outgoing healing is only for the ultimate ability. Some characters, maybe they do more healing in their skill, or maybe they have like certain talent passive as well. So I'm actually looking more in that aspect. And to me, I think the best one is Shared Feeling, a light code that I do not have yet, but I really want as well. At level 1, like Super Imposition 1 is 10%. Outgoing healing general is like not even restrictive, and it also gives 2 energy to all allies when using skill. There isn't like any requirement, so you just use your skill, you generate energy for a whole team as a good side bonus. But the main focus is really this unconditional 10% outgoing healing bonus. All Abundance characters like outgoing healing. And at max level, it doubles to 20% and 4 energy for the rest of the team. So very nice scaling as well. Unlike like Dance, Dance, Dance we saw earlier was like 16% to 24%. This is like straight up double. Very solid as well. I think this would be probably my top pick in terms of Abundance Lightcones as well. And next up we have Erudition. I think Erudition is quite straightforward. A lot of them in terms of Erudition are a little bit more niche. Like for example, if you're running a character with follow-up skills, you want this one. But generally, we are talking about a Lightcone that we can use on all. Unfortunately, I think the best is going to be a Battle Pass one, this one. But I will name an honorable mention because I don't just want to talk about pay-to-play stuff, right? So this today is another Peaceful Day, is a really solid one. It gives you damage increase, 0.2% at level 1 per point of energy, and caps off at 160. All characters generally have quite a bit of energy in terms of erudition, at least 100. I think Serval is the lowest with like 100 energy. Qingque is at 140, so it's quite a lot of the damage scaling. And it considers max energy and not current energy, and so it's a very, very nice passive buff based on character as well. All characters have energy, so it's very versatile as well. In terms of max level, it goes up to 0.4, but who has 5 battle passes for the same one? A bit of a whale if you ask me. And another one that a lot of people could consider in terms of like a good runner-up, I don't just want to talk about play-to-play alternative, I'll give some variations as well. I think the next one is the Seriousness of Breakfast. This one can be gotten for free, so the contrast of pay-to-play as well as like free-to-play. You can get this from the Forgotten Hall shop. I think it's all the way on the right. Once you like clear some domains, you will get enough of that 200 tokens as well. So this one's very good because not only can you also get it max level as a free-to-play player, it increases a good amount of damage in terms of like unconditional 24% damage increase, and of course it's a very nice side effect. Every time you defeat an enemy, you get a stackable 8% attack buff up to 3 times. Erudition characters generally are fighting quite a lot of monsters, and especially if they are like squishies that you're trying to eliminate, this does get to the max stacks pretty quickly as well. and I think this is probably going to be like my top pick in terms of erudition Lightcones. Next up we have Nihility. Nihility is another tricky one because a lot of the characters are pretty different. I think 2 out of all of them stand out. The one with Sampo as well as the one, I think this is Kafka if I'm not wrong, correct me guys if I'm wrong, but these 2 are a bit more niche. They are more like specialized in terms of you need certain DOT procs in order to activate these ones. They are a little bit more niche in that sense, but Good Night Sleep Well and Resolution Shines as Pearls of Sweat are a little bit more versatile as well. If you would ask me, I think based on these 2, I would generally prefer Resolution Shines as Pearls of Sweat, and the reason for that is because it gives a very nice defense ignore of 12%. So for example, if your Nihility character is going first and it inflicts this defense break on the enemy, and even maybe like slows them or do some other Nihility stuff, this is a very nice additional bonus, and it gives all Nihility characters the option of doing like defense break. So I think this is tremendous amounts of value. The only thing is that of course it's a very low base chance, which means that if you want more probability, you either have to either raise it up to super in position 5 or of course get better hit rate chance and pray to RNG gods as well. But jokes aside, I think this is a really strong one. Good amounts of passive side effect defense ignore. It's not like as good as Pella's defense break, but to consider that any Nihility character can defense break, I think it's pretty significant if you ask me. It changes a lot of playstyles as well. Run up definitely will be Good Night and Sleep Well. It's also pretty decent because it's based on the number of debuffs the enemy has, increasing damage dealt by the character that's holding this Lightcone. It's generic in the sense that it can use by a lot of Nihility class characters, but as you can see, the other one offers a lot more team-wide support. So depending on what you're focusing on, I think you will rank them differently in your arsenal as well. But those are my personal top 2 for the Nihility Lightcones as well. Alright, and let's go down to the Hunt. Now the Hunt, in terms of like the 4 of the free-to-play alternatives, is actually pretty close, and we will have to consider like this cruising in the Stellar Sea because it's a free-to-play 5-star Lightcone as well. But for the sake of this video, I'm just going to compare like 4 stars to put it on like equal playing field. In my opinion, I think it's the best is the Battle Pass one, but I will be naming an honorable mention and giving you my thoughts as well. Out of all of them, this is the one that offers a very nice 12% crit rate. Of course, the 5-star Lightcone also offers crit rate, but this one is like slightly more. And after doing a crit hit, there's a chance to dispel 1 buff on the target as well. I think this is quite useful as it makes your character, for example, if you are playing like Danheng, you can make him into a utility character that is able to like dispel buffs on the enemy, while at the same time also, for example, being able to slow the enemy when he lands a crit hit with his skill as well. At max level, it goes up to 32% and 24% crit rate, and you have like multiple instances of crits. It does proc this pretty well as well, Return to Darkness. But who has a Imposition 5 Battle Pass? Like, it probably takes a while to get there. But other than that, I think these 4 are quite close. Sword Play requires you to hit the target a little bit more. This one, River Flows in Spring, requires you to not get damage. I think Subscribe for More, I really do like the name, it's really nice. But this one requires you to have like max energy and not want to use your max energy to get the full bonus, because only when you have max energy you get this additional 24 damage bonus on your basic attack and skill. But if you are attacking for this bonus, you actually lose like the energy regen in that attack instance that you are doing. So I think this is a little bit more conditional. Overall, I think like the most neutral, not much downside will be only Silence Remains. Pretty simple, increase attack unconditionally by 16%, and if there are 2 or few units on the field, the wearer's crit rate increases by 12%, which is as much as like the Battle Pass Lightcone one that we saw. And on top of that, this one is a free Lightcone, or well, gacha in that sense. Any free-to-play can get it, and it's not gated behind Battle Pass. But overall, I think it's pretty solid as well. And if you think about it, Hunt characters are generally used to take down a chunky enemy. So most of the time, there are usually like 2 big enemies, or maybe like 1 big enemy, unless he summons squishies and stuff like that. So those are my thoughts in terms of Hunt, and let's go on to the last one, Destruction. Now Destruction, I actually stared at this screen for a really long time. It's very difficult to distinguish between all of them. All of them are pretty similar in a sense, and the Destruction characters are quite varied. Some of them, like Hook, does a lot of damage but doesn't sap life. Arlen saps life and deals a lot of damage. Blade, who is a character in future as well, he saps life but heals life as well, so it's pretty tricky. But overall, I think the one that I like, probably the most generic one, will be the most Welcome You. This is a pretty nice one, as it's like pretty easy to proc in terms of basic attack, skill, ultimate, to attack enemies, and you gain like this attack stack. It's not like the best according to like what we've seen in the other like category Lightcones, but it's very difficult in terms of this character to rank to rank like a class that is number 1. A Secret Vow definitely comes pretty close to second. in terms of being also very strong. I think this one might edge out the other one. I'm quite torn in terms of like the last two of which one to rank. Maybe this one's higher. Let me know in the comments like which one you guys prefer. I think this one might edge out actually, with increasing damage dealt by the wearer by 20%, because 20% is like unconditional, whereas that one requires you to like proc at least a basic attack and skill to get like 24% attack bonus as well. And if the wearer is like less HP than the enemy, based on a percentage basis, the wearer deals like another 20% damage. So it's pretty strong also. I don't know. I'm torn between this one. I think a Secret Vow might edge out, because generally, according to like out of all of them, Clara, Blade, Ireland generally will take some damage because they have aggro draw or like some HP removing in their kit. So I think this one is much easier to proc in terms of getting that full 40%. So I think a Secret Vow, in my opinion, will be a slightly better one. But really, I think both of them are, in my opinion, almost very close. And if you like such content and you want to see like a full tier list in terms of all my thoughts on even the 5-star ones as well, I have it in the data bank here. I have thoughts as well. Let me know. I'll definitely make it if you guys are interested as well. Thank you so much for watching. If you're interested in more of such content, do consider checking out these 2 other videos right here as well. And see you in the next video.